Today I'm going to be looking at two-part questions for IELTS Writing Task 2. This is one of the common question types you will encounter for IELTS Writing Task 2. First, let's look at what a two-part question is. You've probably heard this phrase before. You'll read it in textbooks or on websites. You may hear your teachers use it, or you may hear people like me on YouTube talking about this kind of question. But there's another word, another phrase. They say direct question. In either case, it means the same thing. It is a question that has essentially two parts. In fact, there are really three parts if we look at it this way. There is a lead-in statement, that's a general statement, and then two specific questions. When we call this a two-part question, what we really mean is one task with two questions. The phrase direct question comes from the fact that these are very specific and direct, unlike, for example, an advantages and disadvantages or problems and solution question where you are just given something to talk about. Here are two other ideas that we can see. You'll see these are structured a little different, but in each case it's essentially the same. There's a lead-in statement followed by question 1, question 2. Again, a lead-in statement, question 1, question 2. It will always be the same. So how do we answer a question like this? Well, there's essentially 5 stages, and these are the same as with any other IELTS Writing Task 2 question, although of course with this one, you will approach it slightly differently. First, you must analyze the question. Then you must generate ideas, that is what you want to say. Then you will plan a structure, write the essay, and finally check or edit your essay. By the way, when that comes about, you need to be thinking about grammar, and there's no better way to prepare for grammar than by getting your hands on this book here, Grammar for IELTS Writing. I'll put the link down below. You can find more information about it on my website. So what do we mean by analyzing the question? That means reading the question and getting an understanding of what it is and what you have to do. So let's look at one more example. Some parents buy their children whatever they ask for and allow their children to do whatever they want. Is this a good way to raise children? What consequences could this style of parenting have for children as they get older? Okay, so looking at this question, we need to be asking ourselves, firstly, what should I do? What is this about? Now, a two-part question is actually quite easy. Generally, you answer the first question and then you answer the second question. However, there's some slight complications. For example, we can look at the first question. Is this a good way? What does this mean? Well, this refers to everything in the previous sentence. And in fact, you often find this kind of structure in a two-part question. So you need to find out the precise meaning of this. That means the first sentence, which may not have originally seemed so important to you, is actually quite important. So here we have to identify what this is about. Parents buying their children. Well, buying them what? Buying them toys, buying them food, buying them whatever they ask for. So the kid says, "Mommy, I want a new toy." And the mom says, "Yeah, okay, sure, I'll buy that for you." Is this a good way to raise children? Now, there's actually two parts here. Also, allow their children to do whatever they want. So, giving them too much freedom. So is this a good way, this entire approach? Then what are consequences of this style? Okay, so again, this style referring back to the first sentence there. What consequences would this have for children as they get older? You'll see these questions are very closely linked, so be careful not to repeat yourself when you're writing your answer. Next, you need to structure the question, or structure your answer. This is fortunately very easy. In my previous video, I talked about whether you should write 4 or 5 paragraphs in an IELTS Writing Task 2 essay. However, in this kind of question, you should only be writing 4 paragraphs. You would have your introduction, where you restate the question and then give an essay outline. Then you're going to answer the first question in 1 paragraph and the second in another. Okay, very easy. Finally, you will come to your conclusion, where you can go back and restate your main ideas using maybe just 2 sentences. Other things to consider: remember to use appropriate language. Now, you should always be using academic English for the writing task too, but you also need to think, what is the topic? And how can I restate the idea from the lead-in sentence in the question without repeating it? In this case, to allow your children to do not too many things, I would use words like permissive. Here are some more tips you can consider when looking at this type of question. Okay, I hope this has been very helpful for you. I have much more detailed guide to 2-part questions at my website, www.TED-IELTS.com. I'll stick the link down below, and I'll see you again next week for another episode of TED-IELTS.